Well, hey, tennis fans, and welcome back to the show. We have lots to talk about today, obviously with the tennis, but also with some of the actions being taken by tennis players and the WTA and ATP. As obviously right now we're in an incredibly tough time in our world, and with some of the recent actions involving police shootings, the tennis world has been put on pause to hopefully do something to create real change. So I salute Naomi Osaka, if you didn't see her statement, for refusing to play today. And I also salute the WTA and ATP for reacting and listening to their players and putting all the matches today at Cincinnati on pause, resuming Friday. I stand with anyone, especially the Black community, as they grieve and are obviously feeling pain in this time. And I stand with everyone who's praying for real change to take place in the States, because it's definitely needed. There are some great matches that we're supposed to be looking forward to tomorrow on Friday after our boy Milos Raonic, repping the red from Canada, had a massive win last night. So we're going to get into all of that on this episode of The Slice.
So I don't have many bagels.
Welcome to The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
So thanks for being here, folks. If you're new, hit the subscribe button and like this video if you do, because it helps everyone else see the video, apparently, with YouTube. But we're having a good time. I've been so stoked watching live tennis again on tennis TV. It's been a great time, and there's been really good tennis, really bad tennis, really rusty tennis from some people. But I think the players are getting used to this super fast court at Cincinnati and are getting kind of their games back, their match play, toughness back. So, on the women's side, Victoria Azarenka seems to be making a comeback. Old Vici, I think they called her. I was never a huge fan of her because I think she used to literally just pull some super suspect moves on the court, taking medical timeouts when she didn't need to, etc. But she kind of left the tour, but now she's maybe back. So that's kind of cool to see. And the women's semifinals look super competitive. We got Mertens versus Osaka. That will be happening on Friday. Osaka announced. And then we have Johanna Konta versus Azarenka in the bottom. So finally, we're seeing names that we all recognize making it to the ends of the women's tournaments. For a while there, it was we get super random players, which is always exciting as well. On the men's side, we have Djokovic, who looked insanely good against Struff, but that's not a great gauge of how good he's playing, because Struff, he didn't really play maybe his best, and Djokovic is obviously in a different class, but he looked very good doing it. So he's going to be very hard to stop going forward. We have RBA, who came through against Medvedev in a really gutsy win, come from behind win. So that's going to be a super interesting matchup. Then we have Tsitsipas after Opelka pulled out, made it through. And then our boy Raonic, friend of the show, came through the hottest Filip Krajinovic I've ever seen in my life. It was absolutely crazy the level he was playing at. We saw Federer level aggressiveness and ball striking from Krajinovic last night. I don't know what the heck was happening. When I tuned into the match halfway through, it looked like Milos had no chance. Every time there was a ball that was even remotely short, Krajinovic was just stepping up and ripping winners, especially backhand up the line. It was just incredible. So, I don't know, Janko Tipsarevic is his coach now, and so maybe he's having a crazy effect on him. But I like that combo. Unfortunately, our guy Milos is an absolute stud and was able to stifle that with his massive serve, break back, hold, break to win in the third set, winning 7-5. So great and gutsy win for Milos there. He'll be playing in the semifinals tomorrow against Stefanos Tsitsipas. So we'll start with that match. That matchup is going to come down 100% to the serve, I feel like. I think Tsitsipas is actually a great returner. He showed that when he's beaten Federer in the past, because he's long, right? And he's athletic and he can get there. So Milos might have a harder time making his serve count. That just means Milos has to back up his first serve, which he's been doing much better than maybe any other time in his career. He's moving super well. I think he's lost some of his body fat. He's still massive, but he's just looking shredded out there. He's got his red bandana on. It's gangster / hipster Milos. I don't know what to expect, but he's playing well, and that's what matters. So that's going to be a super interesting match. I'm actually leaning Raonic in that match, I think, just because I'm supporting him, but also I just feel like he's more deadly at this moment right now, and I think possibly some match toughness will come, or some experience will come into play in that one. And then on the top half, we got Joker versus RBA. Now, if you've been following this at all, you know what this means, because RBA, Roberto Bautista Agut, is a killer on the hard court. He has beaten Djokovic in their last 3 meetings on hard court, on the surface, and it's going to be a tough one. And he took a set off of him at Wimbledon. So what I think bothers Djokovic the most with RBA is that he kind of plays a similar style. RBA is a surgeon out there. He's not going to just miss for no reason. And Djokovic likes to frustrate players and make them miss. And Roberto Bautista Agut basically does the same thing, just not as good. But on the day, I think he can get into Djokovic's head, especially if Djokovic's neck problem comes back at all, and he gets really worn out. And Bautista Agut, like I said, is a machine, will not break down and will not start missing. So Djokovic is going to have to pull out his best fast court tennis, and it's just going to be a duel. And I love to see it. So I don't really know what either guy has to specifically do because, it's just going to come down to who plays better in the big points and who plays more of their game when it comes down to it at the end of sets or at the end of the match. So very excited for that one. I'm also leaning Djokovic because he's won 17 slams, and I think he's just looking insanely good right now. So we might be able to see, based on my two picks, a final of Raonic and Djokovic. And if you remember, Slice fans, we got to sit down with Raonic in Delray Beach, link to the video, and ask Raonic about why Djokovic is so hard to serve against. And there's some super interesting insights. So if that matchup does happen, make sure to go back and watch the video and see what he said. And it'll be very interesting to see if Raonic implements those strategies against Djokovic, who apparently likes to return deep and up the middle, especially against bigger servers, and just keep going up the middle until he has an angle. It's like a super interesting strategy and something that you should actually implement because it's going to work because Djokovic is the greatest returner of all time. And we got some insights there from the best, arguably one of the best servers of all time, Milos, into how that goes down. So super interesting times starting tomorrow on Friday with the tennis. So I'm excited to watch. What are your guys' predictions? Who's going to win? Tsitsipas or Raonic, a couple big boys playing, and then a couple surgeons, Djokovic and RBA playing. Let me know your reaction and your predictions below. Follow us on @theslicetennis on Instagram for daily updates. We talk about everything. We do stories. It's great over there. And yeah, thank you for watching, subscribing, and liking. We will see you next time here on The Slice.